Testing. All right, everybody out there, this is the Northern Neck Patriots broadcasting from a new location on April 28th, 2023. This is day 841. A couple of our Patriots are coming up to join us here. We'll wait for them and get started. We'll kick off with the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance as always. But thank you all for tuning in. We expect to hear from several J6ers tonight. I know Barry Ramey and others have planned to call in, and we hear from Robert Morris. I've got a little bit of something I'd like to read regarding Robert Morris, who was the Lego man who also put together the Code of Ethics. So anyway, we'll get started here shortly. Welcome. Good to see you.
I found it.
We're live and we're going to kick it off. We need to do a prayer and a pledge of allegiance if you'd like to join us, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, come on in.
Sherry's on the way.
Would anybody care to do the prayer? I did one last time. I can do it again. It's up to you all. Go ahead, Larry. You do it.
Go for it.
Come on in so we can see you in here. You're good right back there. Perfect. Perfect.
Father God, thank you for giving us the opportunity to gather here this evening, to be here to join the forces, the J6s, and with our prayers and concerns, always with them, Father. It's all about trying to get this situation squared away and get them guys home they totally deserve. Keep praying for that and family and friends, and always think about them, and we'll get this one day done. We got a job to do, and that's our goal, to get them back to their families. Lord, thank you for the rain today. Thank you we get out here tonight, small in numbers, but we're also in your hearts and gratitude for the nations going on. Comfort those who are in need. Lord, thank you again for the loving Father that you are. In the name of Jesus, we pray your prayers in the wonderful name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Larry. And we've got the little flags here. I couldn't get the big one up, but we've got plenty of flags anyway, so let's go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and I know there's a few more people coming from across the street, and as I was saying before, this is day 841 of the commemoration of the first arrest of J6ers right after the event in 2021. So, unbelievable, 841 days later, we're still here, we're still doing this. Now, we've picked a different venue tonight because we had all-day rain, and we thought, where can we get in out of the rain? And one of our members thought of, how about that pavilion in town there? That sounds like a good place. So here we are. There's nobody competing for it. There's a little bit of little brewery and a little music going on around the corner. Who knows? We might even get some folks to come on in here and see what we're doing. But again, we're expecting several guys to call in tonight. But I wanted to start out like I've been doing the last couple of times and read the names of the individuals that we know have come through the Northern Neck Regional Jail. And so in alphabetical order by first name, they are Adam Jackson, Albuquerque Head, Andrew Taki, Barry Ramey, Brandon Fellows, Brian Jackson, Chris Quaglin, Daniel Rodriguez, Daryl Neely, Ethan Nordine, Jeffrey Sills, Howard Adams, Howard Richardson, Israel Easterday, James Grant, Jeffrey Brown, Jonathan Manafo, Justin Jersey, Cash Kelly, Kyle Young, Lucas Denny, Mahila Pryor, Mark Mazza, Marcus Malley, Mason Corson, Mitchell Todd Gardner, Nicholas Brockhoff, Nicholas Lagerand, Patrick McCoy, Ricky Wilden, Robert Morse, Ronald Sandlin, Ronnie Presley, Ryan Samsel, Samuel Lazar, Tim Boehner, Troy Sargent, William Nordine, William Reed, and Zachary Alam. Now, a couple of these guys have been sentenced recently or being sentenced today. Can you tell me again who was sentenced today? Did you send a note earlier about that? Okay. I've got to look that up on my phone, but there were at least 2 gentlemen that were going to be sentenced this afternoon. And I have that here. So Marcus Malley was going to be sentenced this afternoon, and Jeffrey Brown. Now, Jeffrey Brown was the last one of the J6ers that was in the North Neck Regional Jail. He was there all by himself for about 3 weeks or so when everybody else had been moved out. The poor guy was kind of wondering what happened to him. They forgot about me here, but ultimately they got him out. So his sentence is today, and Marcus Malley is today. So more and more of these guys are going through their sentencing phases right now, and being shipped off then to other locations. Jeffrey Sills is back in Lewisburg, but he's probably not going to stay there for too long.
He's leaving Friday.
And you know where he's going to?
Yes.
That other place in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so this is the next phase of these guys after they've gotten these sentences, is then they go off to wherever to try to finish those things out. So we've got to keep the pressure on. We've got to keep the tension. We've got to keep track of where these guys are going, how they're doing, and how we can support them. So again, we're going to have some call-ins tonight, but I wanted to take a little bit of time and just take 1 minute here to send off a quick note, and then I want to read the code of conduct that Robert Morse put together, he and another gentleman, and that was a very, very compelling document that they put together very early on in their incarceration, but we'll get to that in just a minute. I don't have the exact date when they did this, but it was very early on. So it was a very long document. I'm just going to read that for now so that until we get a couple calls in here. Again, these guys felt like they needed to put something together. If you think about being snatched up often in the middle of the night or early dawn hours with all kinds of force shown against you, rifles drawn, lasers on your chest, yelled at to get down, we're going to break the door in, whatever else, and then getting swept up into the system, into the prison system. And these guys knew that there were a lot of them there, and they realized that they needed to figure out a way to navigate and help support one another. So a couple of these guys thought about putting together what they called a code of conduct, and it was based on scripture and just a lot of really good thought that went into it. So I'll just start to read some of that. There's about 16 points. I'm not going to get through all these, but I think this is a document that needs to get out there and in the record. Again, it shows you the level, the quality of caliber of integrity of these people, to think about that they needed to not just think of themselves, but think of their fellow inmates and how to help them to navigate. This shows you the kind of leadership and just really patriotism of these individuals. As currently incarcerated January 6 political prisoners, the following message is one we deem extremely significant to the outcome of the futures of those who may share our plight, and one interested in their circumstances, as well as their outlook on life, changing for the better. We recognize that not every individual who has been charged or convicted in reference to the events of January 6 is the same, nor the motivations that led him or her to the occasion at Washington. However, acknowledging the vast spectrum of individuals that are now bound to the outcome of that day, and due to some individuals' conduct while incarcerated that has unfortunately cast a negative light on all of us, we felt compelled to produce a recommended code of ethics and conduct that has been drafted, deliberated over, written, and prayed over, so that the following collection of suggestions can be used as a motivational guide to orient the behavior of those behind bars during the most challenging time of our lives, so that as individuals from this moment forward, we can all make every attempt to bring honor to ourselves, honor to our loved ones, honor to our country, and honor to our Creator, despite the overwhelming odds. Point 1. To begin this list of suggestions for future behavior, it is extremely necessary to point out immediately that all eyes are on us, and everything that a single person may do could affect all within the jail, prison we occupy, or even individuals on the outside. That being said, since we have so many people watching us within our concrete confines around the world, so much that it can feel as if we are living underneath a microscope at all times, we are going to take our first piece of advice from Hebrews 12:1, which says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us." Understanding this, let's try to think beyond the frustrating situation before us and consider our reactions potential, so that we do not push ourselves from the frying pan into the fire in front of an audience. You could stop right there, and I think that's pretty impactful. But it goes on, as I said, 16 points. Point 2, we've all been through more than we thought we could ever bear due to this experience. Most of us have lost everything as an outcome, and this document is written by a pair of individuals who have persevered through Dante's Inferno to be addressing you at this point in time. To remind you that you are not alone in your struggle, we want to reference 2 Corinthians 4:8 and 4:16 to 18 to encourage you, which says, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. Therefore, we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and our momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. So I'll read point 3 and then take a little break here as we get ready for the first calls. Now it is important to remember, point 3, to remember and or recognize that we have gone through, that what we have gone through and what we have yet to go through has not been wasted in the least measure if we effectively apply our arduous experiences to the betterment of our character. This situation, if we let it, has the potential to build us up instead of breaking us down. Should we choose, this time can make us better people instead of bitter people, as we learn in Romans 5:3, which says, "Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out onto our hearts through the Holy Spirit, who has been given to us." All right, so we'll stop at that and just take a little break here. I'm going to keep the live stream going because, again, I know we've got some callers coming in, and we've got to get some more people to figure out how to find us here. So I'll be right back.
Maurice was with me in the restaurant over there, and can't find it.
Can I went to court today for sentencing?
Marcus Malley and
This was delayed.
directly across the street behind the playground. You know, you have the car and it's walking. Crush on you, but Marcus Malley.
Marcus was scheduled to be in court this Friday afternoon. No reason for the continuance was given in a brief court order filed earlier today. So his was been continued.
Marcus was.
So we just had one of our members, yes, look up Marcus Malley was postponed or continued, so he did not get sentenced today, even though he was scheduled to be.
Well, it looks like he got 54 months.
Jeffrey Brown got 54 months. Wow.
That's what's on here, but
And that, what is that site you're looking at?
Scott McFarland, there's some people that are there in the courts and they update.
So that's one thing we probably need to figure out how to do is to get a better connection right to the courts, because we know a lot of the people are going there. Mickey Whithoff and
He's on Twitter.
Nicole Reffitt. Nicole was pretty dedicated to going to that every day. So I'll have to figure out how to get some updates from them for our next vigils.
Because I wasn't finding anything on Telegram today. But if you Google their names, it usually pops up something.
All right.
Because that's how Jeffrey Sushner found out what he got was on Telegram. They, the DOJ was asking for 70 months. Prosecutor opened sentencing argument by saying anything less than 70 months in prison would send the wrong message. In the January 6th case of Jeffrey Brown, Andy Slam's defense claimed Brown had a misguided curiosity.
You know what?
Well, I didn't know he was. I thought he was younger than that. I didn't judge says comparisons of January 6th to summer of 2020 are falsely. Is not even in part because January 6th was a threat to fundamental democratic tradition and the peaceful transfer of power.
We're trying to make a message out of it. Trying to send a message.
Well, I didn't know we had a jury type trial.
YouTube is the new home of NFL Sunday Ticket. Sign up now and get $100 off. Watch all your favorite NFL teams.
Just amazes me how all the rioting in the summer was okay to burn down all the buildings and stuff. But January 6th, when people are fighting for their freedom, and not.
All right, I've got a quiz for everybody out here in the audience. These are words that were spoken recently, and I just want you to see if you can figure out who might have said them. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who have been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail. All right, do we have any takers here? One of your favorites. No, it wasn't Trump.
My favorites.
He's interviewed Trump before.
Oh, what means?
You get warmer. Yeah, get warmer. He's in the news. He's been in the news.
Andy.
Get going. You're closer.
Tucker.
Tucker.
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
You're close.
That was in his most recent, his first statement that he made after being booted off of Fox. But I thought it was just perfect. When I heard it, I had to listen to it again. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. And at the same time, the liars who have been trying to silence them shrink and become weaker. So I think that kind of sums it up with it. Yes, indeed.
Wow.
It's Jeff. An inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To hear your payment options, press 0 to receive.
between and hand over to senior in high school. You get to go walk the halls of your elementary school and they pat you down in the teacher if you're in college or whatever. And visit with them if any of your teachers are there. So that's what I did. I found two people that are going to be in the same place as Jeffrey. 52. My attorney says he was done it when we were walking out. He goes, I'm done. So now we've got to, he did file the appeal, and he had to pay another $500 for it, for the 1512. And now I've got to put,
Deposit into your account. Your account has been funded. You may contact you.
I need to put no more money in my attorneys.
This call is from a federal prison. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from...
Very Rainy.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time.
Same as Jeffrey.
To accept this call, press 5. To block this call in all future...
I wonder if he's got blocked or something.
This is so frustrating. So I was entering in the credit card for the first caller, then the second caller came in, and when I pressed it, it hung up. So I lost both of those, but Barry will call back on
Um, Jeff said that the federal sites have decreased their phone minutes from 500 minutes to 300 minutes. Come on.
Dang on. Why is that?
Something about now that it's
Across the street from the restaurant, you didn't even need to
it's
get
over
in your
with, we're
car.
going back to non-COVID rules or whatever.
All right, well, that was,
Some of the places you have to wait 15 to 30 minutes after you make the call. Well, there you go.
Very Rainy.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this call, press 5. To block this call, you may begin speaking now.
Hey Tom, how you doing?
good, Barry. Sorry about that. Fat fingers, I must have hung up on you. I apologize for that.
Not a problem. I suffer from the same thing.
How you doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. We got a slightly different venue. We picked a pavilion right in the little town of Warsaw, so we're not at the jail, but it was rainy, really rainy today, and this is a dry spot. So got a nice little group here now, and looking forward to hearing what everybody has to say. So thanks for calling.
Not a problem. So I got a couple guys lined up to call in. I'm going to be pretty brief myself. I pick it back up at 8. Stuart Rose will be calling in with Lego Man, but they have a prayer session that ends at 8 o'clock. So around 8 o'clock they'll start calling in. So we've got a couple guys in between that, so we should be good to go though. So yeah, I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you guys for staying on top of Northern Neck. We all know that Northern Neck Regional Jail is a very, very bad place, and it's good that you guys are effecting some change around there. We keep getting a lot of letters that are asking how people can support us here in Lewisburg. A lot of times people forget that we're here. If people did want to, by way of their letters, if they wanted to go to www.direct2j6.com, it gives you all the information on how to donate directly to us or our commissaries here at Lewisburg. Again, because we're not in D.C., a lot of people forget that we're out here. But that's in response to that. The only thing I really wanted to touch on tonight, I know you guys are talking about the medical department. I can't say anything nice about it, but we do have a couple guys that are going to call in after me with more direct stuff about it. I'm going to be brief. I'm going to close out with my little segment just by stating that I'm encouraging everybody to do two things tonight. One is the Epic Times has just released a story on epictimes.com with a special agent from the FBI by the name of Steve Friend, who has blown the whistle, left the FBI, and is talking about the egregious overreach and unconstitutionality of the FBI's investigation into Jan 6ers and some of the things that took place. Up on at Twitter or Truth Social at Osprey_Sensei, we put a link to the story, or you can go to epictimes.com and search for it. But again, that's at Osprey_Sensei with Truth Social or Twitter. We have a link to the story. We're requesting that everybody read that story and share that story with whoever and whomever you can. It's a really good story. The public needs to know about it. And as you know, we not only have to fight media censorship, but social media censorship. So definitely please get out there, look at that story, and share with all your friends and family and whoever else. The last thing is, we have a lot going on with the revelations into Hunter Biden's laptop. There are some that were once shadow investigations that are now coming to light. People are starting to take it seriously. Whether any kind of, justice comes to fruition in it is to be seen, but it takes public knowledge and public outrage to actually get things done. So I'm requesting everyone that I talked to this last several weeks to take a look at Miranda Devine's book, The Laptop from Hell. If you read this book, it's a very short book. It's not hard to read. It will explain everything that was on that laptop in great detail, and you'll start to understand why Chinese spy balloons are flying over our country with little to no consequence, why we're giving our oil reserves to China, why this administration is behaving and capitulating to Xi and the CCP. All you have to do is read that book. So get online, order a copy of Miranda Devine's The Laptop from Hell, and order 2 copies. Give it to a friend. Knowledge is power, and that's where we're at right now as a nation. We need to get this stuff out. So with that, I'll digress. If you have any questions for me, let me know.
Well, I think that's great. I appreciate
This call is from a federal prison.
So just tell us anything else you can. How many are with you up there? Are you with other folks? You're in the common area then?
Yeah, we're in the common area. We're in Lewisburg. I think there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of us here now that are J6 related defendants. We're here. We're here in Lewisburg. Could be worse.
We just heard that Jeffrey Brown was sentenced today to 54 months. So that was news that came just a little while ago.
Okay. All right. We did have Marcus Malley that left us yesterday and was going to that sentencing, but we heard that he may have tested positive for COVID and was being kept at DC jail and did not go to the sentencing. From what we've heard, we don't know that that's 100%, but.
Well, we've confirmed that he was not sentenced and it was delayed, so now you've got a reason for that, so thanks for that, yeah.
No problem. Well, those Chinese, he was fine when he left here. None of us seem to have COVID, but, who knows what that's all about. One can only speculate.
Well, listen, thanks for calling in. I know you want to watch your minutes, Barry, but I appreciate everything you do. Thanks for the book recommendations, and we'll get that out there because you're right. Knowledge is power, that's for sure.
Awesome, and thank you guys for standing for us and giving us this outlet to speak. It is not go unforeseen. It's a very helpful tool for all of us that are dealing with this endeavor. So thank you guys, and all you Northern Neck Patriots. John Haynes from Northern Neck Sentinel. And again, that website is www.direct2j6, that's the number 2, direct2j6.com. God bless you all. God bless the USA. I'm going to have Brian Jackson call in next. Take care, everyone.
God bless you too. Thanks, Barry.
Cheers, brother.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's a well-read. I mean, he often talks about the books he's been reading, so that's a great one. Miranda Devine. What's it called? Look at that, how bad we are.
We're terrible. I don't get old. It leaves marks.
Yeah, well, Miranda Devine, look her up.
Well, he was talking about it was all about Hunter Biden's laptop, and there was some people a year or so ago, maybe a year and a half ago, that got their hands on it and were able to dissect it, put out a report. It's several thousand pages long. I have that, and it's pretty crazy. It's mad crazy.
Well, this goes back to, you know, the 51 former intelligence folks, including the couple that live out here in our area that signed off on that, and they've done the polling that says that plenty of people would have voted the other way had they known.
You will not be charged for this call. This call is from
Brian Jackson.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this call, press 5. You may begin speaking now.
Hey,
Hello, Tom.
Brian, how are you? Thanks for calling.
No problem. How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing well. We're not at the jail tonight. We're in the town of Warsaw, however, just about a mile or two up the road, in a pavilion trying to stay dry. It's been a really wet, rainy day.
Yeah, it's the same up here too.
Yeah. So what's new? What do you have to tell us tonight?
Oh, not really a whole bunch of nothing. I just called to say hello and take part in y'all's vigil tonight. You know, I'm the husband of Tammy that started the vigil up there for the first time.
Yeah. So how's that been going? I was up in Lewisburg before she started that and driving around, and I understood that they kind of locked some things down and made it a little harder to do things up there. But she's still able to do that. I haven't been able to watch.
Oh yeah, every Saturday night without Phil, she does it. She'll be up here tomorrow night doing it.
All right.
She's rolling into town tonight, so yeah, it's going pretty good actually.
Good.
So we got a lot of supporters coming out from around here, so everything's looking good on the vigil side.
Good. You're in a great part of the country there. I mean, I'm partial because I grew up near there, but they're good people in that part of the world for sure. I think.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. You know, I'm from Houston, so it's a little different for me. You know, I don't like the weather up here. In Texas, it's about 100 degrees right now in April. Here it's 40. A little bit different ball game up here.
It is indeed, but at least you can get outside there still. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, we get to go outside every morning. We go out for about an hour, so that's good. You know, Northern Neck, we couldn't do nothing. We were stuck in a cage the whole time.
Yeah, that's my understanding. So, one of the topics I was trying to see if people wanted to discuss, and it's completely up to you, but you know, the Northern Neck Regional Jail is a certified medical correctional facility, yet the medical treatment there appears to be abysmal. Do you have anything you want to add about that from your experience?
Well, I know that I'd gotten in a fight. Me and Barry got in a fight at Northern Neck, and I broke my finger, and they x-rayed it, but they never did nothing about it, so it grew back crooked. So yeah, that's supposed to be a medical facility? Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard to even get to see a doctor. I think they got like nurses there, like EMTs. I don't know how it would be a medical facility, because there's never no doctor there, and there is a doctor there. I mean, you see him for like 2 minutes when something happens, you know?
Right. We were told by the warden himself that the doctor comes 4 hours a month. So imagine that.
So there you go.
Yeah, with 400 inmates, right? So
right.
Did they x-ray your finger there at the jail?
They did.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
And they never sent me results back until I asked for it, and about a month later, they finally told me, they showed me the results, they called me back down to the infirmary, showed me the results, and it cracked. But this time it was already healed, but it grew back crooked. So the tip of my finger leans to the left a little bit if you look at it. It's still sore, because the bone was cracked. But they never did nothing. They never gave me no medication or anything like that,
Well, what were you fighting with Barry about?
It was over Tucker Carlson.
Oh, so it was not with Barry, it was with someone else.
No, yeah, it was against somebody else, yeah. It was over the TV. We were watching Tucker Carlson. Oh, yeah.
So you,
Yeah, I think he put an article out over that in the newspaper called the Tucker Wars. It came out over the Northern Nick Sentinel.
that's right, indeed.
Yeah, I was one of those guys.
Well, I'm glad you stood up for your rights to the television, for sure,
Right.
Well,
That's good. Who's all out there tonight?
we got about a half dozen or so, a bunch of Patriots. We got a mom of Jeff Sills is here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Where's Jeff Sills at now? Does she know?
He's up there with you guys, but I don't know.
He's in a holding area, going somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I heard he's on B block here.
Yeah, holding area. So,
Yeah, he's in transit.
Yeah.
He said it's horrible there.
Oh, he doesn't like it.
Yeah, he says it's
Oh,
totally different.
he's on lockdown, so yeah, I can imagine he doesn't like it.
Well, hopefully.
I assume he is, I think.
Yeah.
Is he staying here or is he in transit here? Does she know?
He's in transit.
One more week.
One more week, and he's got another facility in sort of midwestern Pennsylvania that he's going to be going to, apparently.
I see. Okay. Well, he's still relatively close to home.
Yeah, 5 hours, I think. You're all that close. You're from Texas. I know 5 hours is just a walk in the park for you.
Yeah, exactly, right? It takes us an hour and a half just to get across Houston from the east side to the west side. Yeah.
This call is from a federal prison.
Well, listen, I know you guys have to watch your minutes, so you talk as long as you want, but I don't want to burn your minutes up. All right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're good. I just want to say hello and thank y'all, and God bless y'all for sticking out and staying out there for us, and hopefully they shut down Northern Nick Jail soon.
Hey,
Get rid of that ragged place.
we're at least going to shine some light on it. I'll tell you, Brian, because you guys brought the light out on that, and if it weren't for the fact that you guys had the courage to stand up and claim your rights, I don't think any of us would have known about it.
They're heroes.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I'm glad you're over there still visualizing. Hopefully it goes down and gets shut down soon. But anyway, I'm going to get off here, and I'm going to give a shout out to Tammy. Hello, Tammy. I love you. And thank y'all for listening, and thank y'all for being out there and supporting us. And God bless y'all.
God bless you too. Thanks, Brian.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Yeah, those guys are heroes.
We do need to get, they are heroes. I think you're absolutely right about that. And we've said that before at the jail. We said it at the supervisors' meetings. The fact is that these guys are different than the other people that go through there. They actually have the courage to stand up for themselves, and they know the difference between right and wrong. They've read the Constitution. They know that they have rights. So it makes me realize, though, these other vigils, we've got to get the links out there to folks so that they can watch them. So I'm pretty sure that A for Ashley is probably a good place to go to find out Mickey Whithoff and the group that are doing the DC vigils. There's a couple different people that do that down there. Tommy Tatum is one. There's another gentleman. I think I'll have to find that, but I'll bring those next time so we can spread those around. And then, of course, his wife Tammy's doing it up at Lewisburg.
Prison. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from
Brandon Fellows.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this, you may begin speaking now.
Hello, this is Brandon Fellows.
Hey, Brandon, this is Tom. How are you?
Hey, I'm all right for a guy that's sitting in prison for smoking 2 hits of weed in the Capitol 2 years ago and doing nothing else besides that.
I think you usually answer, so it could be worse, right?
I don't think
Yes.
so.
Well, they've called me a non-violent danger to the community because of that over 2 years ago. I've been held in here since then. So, yeah, I wanted to, I heard you guys are still out there in Northern Neck, and I was hoping to kind of share maybe some, a background story for, what helped bring about the first vigil over there, and, what kind of happened since then, and, kind of maybe also like try to tell anybody out there, what might help, cause more changes to be brought. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Go for it.
Awesome. Well, I originally was over at the DC jail, and despite having, been diagnosed with autism and having a law background, I was a business owner prior to being arrested on January 6th, but despite not having no law background, I actually started reading up on the law library about all the ways that pretrial detainees are supposed to be treated. And I started realizing at the DC jail that they weren't following a lot of these laws. And so I tried to file grievances on these issues because that's what you're supposed to do. You first file grievances, and you're supposed to exhaust the process before you can bring it up to a court. And unfortunately, the grievance process was broken, whether it was because they, made them get lost, similar to how Northern Neck does it, or they just don't respond, similar to how Northern Neck does it, or in DC's case, they didn't have a third step, which also you would never be able to get access to, at least while I was there, to the Northern Neck's third step of the process. They also have a four-step process in place. And so I filed a motion, again with no legal background while representing myself, and started an investigation into the DC jail. And around March 17th of 2022, both the Marshals and the DOC's internal investigation came out and said that DC jail's grievance process was broken. And long story short, to not bore anybody, what that means is if, that wasn't put in place in the 1960s, the 1980s, because 90+% of the cases that courts were seeing were people from jails complaining about their conditions. So in order to get any relief, you need to exhaust it. If that's not in place, well then not only can you get relief, but anybody that has been there since the broken process can sue on behalf of the conditions that they faced. Something also I've shown about Northern Neck, though granted they didn't have an internal investigation about it, but the grievance process has been documented as having problems over there. So following this, then with the DDA of the DC jail subpoenaed, Deputy Director of Administration, and that she was supposed to show up, she did show up on April 14th, 2022, to my court and lied, just like the Northern Neck people lied about the conditions that people are undergoing. They're saying there's no issues. It's a total lie. These people do the same thing. And I called her out in court, but besides that, I found a way to sneak out videos from jail, and a lot of these videos went viral, showing our condition material, including the haircuts, the cockroaches running all over the place. And I had no idea it was going to be 10 times worse over to get there. But unfortunately, the jail wasn't happy.
This call is from a federal prison.
DC jail wasn't happy about the videos, and but they weren't, unhappy because this stuff happened to me. They were unhappy that the abuse got put out there. Again, just like Northern Neck, a lot of the people there, they don't care so much about the inmates in there. A lot of them, they want to protect their image. They want to hide what's going on there. And so, as punishment for this, they came in and they sprayed me, handcuffed me, slammed their face against the door, and bent my wrist back. So, like they were bending my wrist while I was handcuffed so hard that it actually came out from the tight handcuffs. My wrist still kind of hurt today, both between that and what I'll be telling you what happened in Northern Neck. And so, while following those attacks, I was continually getting threatened by guards at the DC jail, and in fear for my life, I was like, all right, I got to call for help somehow. So the only way I could do that, because they weren't giving me phones or tablets, was I would flush my toilet and flooded in the entire section of the jail that I was locked in the dungeon, also known as the hole. And eventually the marshals caught wind of it, and they came to come pick me up. And on the way over there, this is the marshals themselves, they brought me over to Northern Neck Jail in Memorial Day weekend. One of them was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He was actually, this is 2022, and he was actually like, dude, he's like, I had to come off of my vacation for this, and I'm not upset, I saw the videos, but I'm just going to warn you, Northern Neck Jail is way worse, both in conditions and the guards. And then so I got there, and I just wanted to share, at the DC jail, it took me 10 months to get attacked by guards. but within 10 days, I was attacked by guards at Northern Neck Jail. And unlike the DC jail that was trying to, simply punish me because I let the videos out and they were upset about this, the DC jail, and I know you guys are focusing more on medical, or at least I was told you guys are focusing on medical. This was directly related to medical. I was locked in a 2-man cell, and I was the third person. There wasn't even a bed for me. I was on the ground for 3 days in the booking area. And I kept asking, hey, I want to get a shower. We've been locked in here, not even a chance to step out of this cell. People had to step over me to get over the toilet. And it was just a disgusting nightmare. The guards are screaming all the time over there. And, they'd have no respect for you sleeping. And then I eventually at day 3, I got 3 days also for asking these nurses, hey, I need this. I'll just tell you guys, it's TMI, but it is definitely TMI, but it's, what is it called? Irritable bowel syndrome. So if I'm not moving around, I'm not having fruit, which they have no fruit over there, I have some issues. So I was asking for laxatives. And eventually, the nurses kept saying, what do you think, you're special? They kept ignoring me. They would not treat me whatsoever. And then eventually I just started saying laxatives to the guards that were near there until they got annoyed. And one of those guards, Lieutenant Ball, said, if you say laxatives one more time, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And so I, of course, said that. I was like, being sarcastic. And I said, all right, great, that's what I need. I need the shit beaten out of me. And I said laxatives. Well, he opened up the cell door, pulled me out without my shoes on, brought me over to the nurse's office. I was like, okay, cool, I felt safe. I was like, okay, he's not actually going to attack me. And he asked the nurse, he's like, you give this man laxatives? And I said no. And then they handcuffed me with a corporal laws to my right. And then, if you've ever been handcuffed, which hopefully you haven't, I have no criminal history prior to this. This is my first time ever having been in jail or, anything like this. But they cranked my arms beyond the 90 degrees, which is terrible for your shoulders. And then they slammed my face into the first door heading over towards the fork in the road between A through C pod and J pod. And then that door opened, slammed my face into another door, and then threw me into a attorney-client room, all where there's no cameras, and I'm still handcuffed. And they said, do you want to say anything else? And of course I said no. And eventually, as the following weeks went on, I got to talk to some other people and heard that this is a constant occurring problem. And this is where I start getting to the instructions for anybody that's listening. It's one thing to talk about the issues, it's one thing to complain, and, it's a great thing that we got vigils, but these people inside, if you have any people inside, they need to document the times, dates, and names, and anytime these things happen. Not only in grievance form, but also in a form that, can be guaranteed that they won't throw away like they do the grievances. This is something I did. Anybody that had that happen to them, anything sketchy or bad or illegal happen to them, they need to write down these things and document it. I have a list of a lot of names of people who have been attacked by multiple guards. That was my goal while I was there. And I tell people, continue to file grievances. That's how you at least try to, break it through the system. And you just got to continue doing that. So then getting over to the cool backstory for the vigils, I ended up leaving the jail, going through what inmates typically call diesel therapy, going to different jails, and then eventually I came back. My lawyer, knowing that I was attacked by guards, was actually about to file a motion for emergency leave for me. But now I was in J-Pod with about 10 other January 6th defendants, and it was my first time seeing them in months, any January 6th defendant actually since the DC jail. And I said, no, keep me here. I want to continue to try to, help out in this jail just like I did over at the DC jail. So I got them all in a circle in J-Pod, and I said, hey guys, there's vigils out there, and also there's ways to raise money for us. We should call in to the DC vigil, and I want to introduce you guys. So I called them up, and we introduced them, and then they were surprised to hear from all of us. And I said, yeah, this jail, I could tell you guys, in the DC vigil, people were familiar with me. They knew that I was kicked out. They knew that I was attacked at the jail. Some of them saw my videos. I said, hey guys, we need some help over here. Within a short while, vigil is organized, and then, the other constant thing that, you got to do is you got to, have people, not only try to reach out and talk on the vigil, but also reach out to congressmen, reach out to the local, government officials, continue to press the issues, and get the attention. Don't keep the spotlight off of the jail.
This call is from a federal prison.
And so I'll try to wrap it up so you don't want to talk your ear off. But yeah, you just got to continue to push these kind of issues, document everything, and work together in there. I know it's a jail, and unfortunately there's a jail culture that unfortunately is a little bit toxic sometimes, but if you can put that aside and just keep in mind that, you know, regardless of whether you agree with someone or not, you know, there's certain things that people got to follow, that these guards, that the laws that these guards have to follow, and it's good to be educated. So if you can, read the legal law library, see what your rights are in jail, because a lot of them are being broken in that DC jail. And yeah, I don't know if you had any questions or anything. Otherwise, I could share a story about a crazy story about Daniel Wingo, but you know, it's up to you.
Well, I just want to say thank you again for everything you did and for helping to get that going, because you're right. We knew you guys were in there, but the vigils was really what I think helped to bring light to it and also attention here locally. So yeah, we're not done, and we're going to continue being at the jail board meeting next week, and we're going to continue on with the local jurisdictions, because these guys need to wake up to what's going on in their own backyard, and they need to take accountability for it, because they are in control of that jail, the jail board. So they need to know.
Yeah, no, and there's lots of documentation on it. So, yeah, no, thank you again for doing that. And could I possibly just share one quick story, one crazy story that I think best encapsulates the medical area?
Go for it.
Awesome. This will be a lot quicker. I was in jail, and you know, in the booking area again, and they bring in this guy named Daniel Wingo. I guess he's a local guy, and he starts sharing that he's going to have seizures if he doesn't get gabapentin, which he kept warning the guards that they were going to, you know, he was going to have a seizure, and this is like 3 hours. 4 hours later, they ignore him, and all of a sudden he starts having a seizure, and he slams his face on the concrete. And it did not look good. I could see it from my cell, and guards walk over nice and slow, like nothing is the matter, as he's flipping and flopping and banging his head some more on the ground. And they open up the door. I'm trying to remember his name. He used to be a sheriff somewhere. I know he's a big problem. I think he used to be a sheriff and he got kicked out or something. But and the name will probably come to me after I get off the phone. But he has like 4 or 5 other seizures in the same cell, and we kept screaming with me and the other inmates every time, because he's in a cell by himself. Hey, guards! And at one point, Nurse Epps, I don't know if she still works there, but Nurse Epps looks over, sees him flopping and hitting his head more, and she rolls her eyes and starts walking away. She's like, I can't do anything for him. And she just walks away. Then eventually another guard comes in, and their solution was, all right, we're just going to load this place up with mattresses. So they just threw mattresses all over the place and gave him a bunch of sleeping medicine, and then let him lay there. He really seemed concussed, and he was not seeming very coherent after he hit his head. It wasn't until maybe, you know, he woke up about like 3 hours later and had another seizure, flopping all around on the mattresses, and they just simply dragged him out of there. He was dead weight, and took him away from our presence. I eventually got to see him a couple months later. I was like, dude, you're safe. I was like, thank God, I didn't know what happened to him, but that's just a good showing of what happens inside the, you know, inside the medical wing and with the guards. They just do not give a crap about it, and they will. I mean, there have been people that died in that jail, so it's good to try to, you know, attack these issues, so we don't have issues like this continue, happen again. We die from this. So thank you guys for all your help that you guys are doing out there. Thanks for letting me share that story.
Absolutely, and just so you know, we know Dan's mother, and she's been to the vigil, she's been to the jail, she's been filing these complaints, so thanks for the context of that story. I didn't know all of that.
Yeah, he's actually, before this phone call ends, I got less than 30 seconds. I actually, in my mail, I have the exact times that this happened, of when this happened, so I'd be happy to share that with her in sometime in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brandon. Take care, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
God bless you.
Bye.
You're taping that, correct? At the next jail board meeting, we should use this for 3 minutes and let them hear that.
I think if we can get a snippet of that, we can take a snippet off of here too.
Yeah, and if it takes 6 minutes, then break it up between people and let them hear it.
Yeah, that's
We can do that.
That's a brand new one. I mean, I had not heard that
I know.
that background at all.
That's
before.
Debbie's son, right?
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Daniel Wingo.
And he's in
That's
there
true.
now, that's, yeah.
Solve the problem by putting mattresses on the floor.
Well, that will help save him
Yeah.
while he's having the seizure, so I agree with that, but he should have been he should have had his medicine, and B, because that's the first thing is to keep you safe.
The inhumane treatment of American prisoners in American facilities is deplorable, and it makes you wonder how we treat our prisoners of war. Is it better or worse? I would argue that it's better.
Better.
Why is it better? Because you always have to answer to the other country when all is said and done.
That's right. Mom,
Federal prison. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from...
Andrew, talking.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this call, press 5. To block this call, you may begin speaking now.
Ooh.
Andrew,
Hey, how's it going, Tom?
good. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, hanging in there. Just trying to make it.
Yeah, good. We just heard from Brandon Fellows. We had a nice series of calls here tonight. So we're not outside the jail tonight because it was raining like crazy all day long. We moved to a pavilion in the center of town in Warsaw, so we're staying dry over here. But believe me, we're still here on the vigils, and we're going to keep the pressure on.
Awesome. Cool. So here we're trying to talk about some medical stuff, are we?
If you have anything to share, please do.
Oh yeah. So just to put this out there, this is a big problem I've been dealing with my whole time. So not just at Northern Neck. I do have a chronic hormone condition that I was being treated for before I came to jail. And I fought for so long in every facility I went to even get the proper care. Of course, get to Northern Neck, same thing. Still fighting to get that proper care. It's very simple. 1 shot a week, couple pills a week. Very simple. Do a blood test, once a month, every 6 weeks. Very easy. They didn't want to do that. It took me, when I first showed up there, I showed up, I had a severely broken hand in a splint. The previous jail did not do anything about it. Let the guys know at booking that, my hand was severely broken, and then also about the hormone condition that, I had a dose that was due coming up in the next couple days. That I needed to speak with somebody very soon, as soon as possible, about both of these issues. So, they say, well, cool, they'll come around and do their initial screening, check-in of you within 10 days of you being here. I said, no, I need to talk to somebody, now. So a couple of the guys supposedly sent emails to medical, hey, we got to check this guy out soon. Well, every single time that they would bring a med cart through, either to do intake screenings for people, or 3 times a day doing diabetic cart, or 2 or 3 pill lines a day, I forget what it was, bringing medication for people. Every time some medical staff came through, I would show them the horribly broken hand. I would talk to them about my condition that I needed my medication for. They would do nothing. They just said, until you get the intake screening, we can't do anything for you. Okay, well, cool, dude. Do the screening now then. What's stopping you from asking me 20 questions so I can at least get the care that I need? So it took them 9 days to actually do that. On that 9th day, I tell them, hey, look, my dose of medication is 6 days late now. Okay, cool. Well, then I start hitting the runaround of, okay, cool, yeah, we're ordering it. The next day, okay, cool, we got it down there, we'll give it to you. Okay, cool. Every single time, 3 times a day, they're bringing a cart around with diabetic medications, with needles on it, that they could easily give me my medication. Not a hard thing to do. Then it turns into, well, we got to get you down to medical, or, another person says, I put it in the fridge, I'll pull it out, we'll get it to you. It just on and on and on for another 9 days. Well, on the 10th day, I asked one of the nurses about it, and another one of the nurses steps up and starts yelling at me about it for asking about my medication. And I'm trying to let her know, this has been 10 days past the time that I'm supposed to have it. I have serious issues going on. Y'all have my medical records. Y'all know about this. Well, she walks away, doesn't give me my medication, doesn't give me any answers. An hour later, I get told to pack up and go to a disciplinary pod. For what? I don't know. And then all of a sudden it's like,
This call is from a federal prison.
say I cussed the nurse out for asking for my medication like I did for the last 18 days. Or, well, 19 days at that point. Never cussed her out. I had witnesses there that saw I didn't cuss the lady out. Yet I still get in trouble for asking for medication that was prescribed to me and that it was scheduled for me to have. Once they take me over to a disciplinary pod, well, guess what? An hour later, they finally take me down to get my dose of medicine. Why couldn't they have done that 10 days previously without me getting in trouble for simply asking them to just do their jobs? No idea why. Throughout I was only there about 3.5 months. Throughout that stay, on everything, every time I was supposed to have a dose, it was either, 6 days late, 3 days late, 4 days late, a day late. They could just never give it to me on time. I don't know what's so hard when you literally have a cart come through every unit 3 times a day with syringes and stuff on it, that they could not just bring me my medication and give it to me then. So on that, that was just the experience with that. Just they don't seem to even think that there's a need to stick with a schedule on that. On the broken hand, nothing was ever done. They did check it out and say, okay, cool, you have a broken hand. Nothing. CO takes the splint from me, saying that I was not authorized to have this medical device. I show him my hand. It literally still looks like a softball, still multiple colored, but I'm not approved to have a splint. So, we have to ask medical to see if you can have it back. Yeah, that never happened. Never went back. Literally asked every medical person that came by, every CO that day that was there, wrote grievances about it, wrote request forms about it, just would not give me the splint back to protect my broken hand. Another couple weeks after that, I ended up getting attacked by somebody, and I have to defend myself with said broken hand. I re-break more of the hand, cause more damage to it. They finally get it checked out, and all they do is put another little soft splint on it. Now, albeit they did finally send me to go see to get a referral to see a hand surgeon, but God knows how long that was actually going to take from the time that I went and saw a nurse at the hospital just to get a referral to actually have a surgery done. But I was on them in the beginning for taking the splint, not putting it in a cast long before that. This was probably 2.5 months into my stay there. They still hadn't done anything about it. If you're going to have it to where I'm not able to properly defend myself, but yet you still won't put my hand in a cast, then I'm having a fight with a broken hand. It's a big problem. And then the next issue, the doctor that was there a couple hours every once in a while did send me to the hospital to have an MRI done on my head, because with my chronic hormone condition and some of the stuff on the blood test, some of the markers came back to look like I very well may have a pituitary brain tumor. So, kudos to that doctor for actually scheduling this thing and having me sent there. But they never read the results to me. So I was still there for a week after this. Get back, don't read the results to me. And then, since coming to this place, back to Lewisburg here, they have not sent the records. I've written them a letter to the medical department to try and have them send it here. My mother's tried to call, a couple of our other supporters have tried to call, my attorney's tried to get a hold of Northern Neck. Nobody will get back with them to actually give them the record of this MRI that was done on my head to see if I have a brain tumor. So I don't see why they were so gung-ho about sending me to get this thing, but then not still working off of that same motivation to actually give me the records for it. I have no idea how somebody can just ignore letters and so many phone calls and messages to try and get this sent to us, but
seems like a real problem with the fact that they don't want to provide those records, and I think there should be some legal way that you should be able to get through that. I mean, with HIPAA and the Healthcare Portability Act and all that stuff, your records are supposed to go with you, even if you're in jail, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, they sent some stuff, some of paper documents or the digital file, but not the CD with the MRI record on it.
This call is from a federal prison.
I mean, I don't know about you. If you thought you might have a brain tumor, if you were told that you might, you would kind of be a little anxious and worried, not knowing if you do, until you actually find out if you do or not. I mean, this is a daily thing now for the last almost 5 months that I've been worrying about on a daily basis. And the medical staff here still doesn't think that it's a big enough deal, even though the doctor 100% knows about it and even talked to me about medications that they give people to try and shrink these brain tumors without having to do surgery. But he still doesn't think it's a big enough deal to, one, either give me another MRI or find a way to get Northern Neck to provide these records. So my experience is not solely with the bad of Northern Neck. It is with the bad of every single facility that I've been to, everywhere from Houston to Oklahoma to DC to Lewisburg, back out to Northern Neck, back here. So, I've just dealt with pretty much the same thing at every facility, and it's pretty bad when you're pre-trial, you're not found guilty of anything at the moment, and these places do not want to take care of stuff, even though the funds are already there. They just have to get the procedures approved by the marshals. The marshals will take care of stuff if these places actually just step up, schedule the appointment, take us to them, give us the medications that we need. But they try and act like the stuff comes out of their pocket. So.
Well, we read your thing last week about the issues at Lewisburg. Did you finally get your proper dosage up there?
I got mine after they gave me the opposite of somebody else's. So it doesn't just balance out like that. Like, I still have this other stuff coursing through my body right now, and they did not give me anything to block the tranny's estrogen that they gave me. So it's not like things are all good because I got mine. It's still a whirlwind inside my body now. So, but yeah, I got mine, but then they want to try and talk me down like it's not a big deal. So hopefully I won't sue them. Try and tell me it's fine. It'll be out of my system in a month. Everything's okay. We don't see why you're mad. Well, one, I would expect a facility to keep track of who they're shooting stuff up with. It's not like you gave me just one pill that's in and out of your body in a day or so. Like, you gave me something that is literally going to affect my life and my well-being for the next month, and then wonder why somebody's upset. I have plenty of courts battles going on with this place here, so it's not necessarily. I don't know if it's a BOP-wide thing. I think really with me, it's just with the doctor that's here. I think if I were to get around any other doctor at the BOP, I might be better, maybe. I would hope, just because if this is the way that people get treated in this whole system, then it's shocking that they're able to get away with doing stuff like that. So
We agree, absolutely. So keep us in touch with how that's going for you. And thanks for sharing the stuff about what happened here at Northern Neck. I'm sorry to hear that there's such a trouble up there at Lewisburg, but our thoughts and prayers are with you, man. So
Will do. Do you have, did you give any of the guys here your email yet? Do you know, does Barry have that, and I can get that from him, or?
Yeah, Barry's got it, please. Yeah, I'm now in Corlink, so I can correspond with you. I'd love to get that information and start spreading it around.
Oh, okay. I will get you added here in the next couple days. So,
sounds good.
Thank you for everything that y'all do there. It's good that y'all are still out there for people. Hopefully, y'all have people from inside the jail y'all have connected with too, maybe, that are still calling in and No, I don't know if y'all do.
Well, we're trying to build that, and we also have whistleblowers coming forth. So yeah, I think there will continue to be vigils going on for the foreseeable future, for sure.
Good. No, just pray for the strength of everybody there to keep up the fight, and don't let the pressure off of these people now. Just in case anybody cares, I do have a gift and go if y'all would care to look at that, see any updates, or possibly help out with any of this here. If y'all could, the link is givesendgo.com/free Andrew Taki. Free Andrew Taki. The last name is Taake. That would be cool, even if y'all just go and check for updates and keep informed on what's going on with me there. Tom, I'll email you as soon as I can, and thank you for everything you'll do. Tell everybody else we said hello, and thank them for all their tireless efforts.
Will do, and hang in there. God bless you, Andrew.
God bless you as well. Have a good one.
All right,
Bye.
These people. So couldn't he possibly call the hospital to say, hey, I want a copy of my CT scan and please allow
Hey, John.
pick it up?
Good. The phone's been ringing off the hook.
I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah.
The hospital?
The hospital wouldn't do that. I can't imagine they would.
Yeah.
With the HIPAA regulations.
We'll share some of this information
They-
with you.
they
We just
would
got
be-
done with Andrew
I would be
Taki.
amazed if they would
You
actually
know
do
what
that.
happened with him, a week ago in
Well, he would
Lewisburg,
have-
but he
well,
gave
they
some
could
real
give
great details on
us
what happened here
a
in Northern
release
Neck.
form for him to
So,
sign.
yeah. Did you want to say a few words here
Because
on
I've got
the
it for
live stream,
myself.
or
Go get a copy of a CT scan to take to another doctor.
Yes, for your own.
well, I'll cut you off if anyone else
A
calls.
second
I
third
did
party
miss a
do it.
couple of folks,
That's
but
where it's
I
gonna
don't know
be
if they'll call
sketchy.
back or not.
His attorney could get a loved
His
one's-
attorney can get anything.
Not
Or a loved
not
one's,
really, unless.
Yeah, you know,
Well,
that's, so, once you get
Provincial
attorneys
medical.
in, now you're getting into an expertise. Yeah, that would
so
be.
why hasn't,
Yeah, I've got to take this one.
you know.
So
let's
that,
get-
I was just thinking that, well,
Oh, sorry. That's
I was thinking, these guys are spending money.
You
on
will not be charged for this call. This call is from...
James Tate Grant.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this call, press 5. To block this call, you may begin speaking now.
James,
Hey, what's going on?
hey, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing out there? Is it too cold?
No, it's not bad at all. We moved into the center of town. There's a pavilion in the little park in Warsaw, but it's been raining like crazy all day, so we figured this was a dry spot, and but we're just up the road from the jail, so not far.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming out and braving the weather and the elements to be out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to hear your voice, too. I haven't talked to you for a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I'm doing a lot better. Man, I tell you, that time in Northern Neck, and thank you guys so much for doing what you do. A little bit selfish. I'm just glad I'm out of there. I mean, it's really that bad. And you know, I'll be just sitting here thinking about it sometimes and getting angry about it when I see. I mean, when I first got here to Lewisburg, I remember I needed shower shoes and a towel, and I asked the CO, and he immediately got it, and I was like shocked. I was telling everyone, it's like, oh my gosh, dude, they just get you stuff that you need, and you know, it's crazy because I was reading a book on the Russian gulags there, and they would, you know, take prisoners by train, and they would not give them water, because if they stopped to give them water, they would have to stop to let them out to use the bathroom. And I was just reading so many similarities between Northern Neck Regional Jail and the gulags in Soviet Russia. You know, a lot of them aren't necessarily bad people. A lot of the jailers aren't necessarily bad. They're just young, because, I mean, everyone in Northern Neck is extremely young. They're young and inexperienced, and they don't want to do too much work. But, you know, the results of that are a horrible system that no one deserves to live in. I mean, some people deserve to be there, but, I mean, I'm just, you know, those who have crimes against children, it's about it, though, and that's not 98% of the people there. But, yeah, I mean, just in y'all's town right there in Warsaw, there's so much suffering going on there. If you don't have money on your commissary at Northern Neck, you will starve. I mean, you will uncomfortably starve all night. The medical system is an absolute, it's almost, I saw the doctor once. I had the misfortune to be in Northern Neck for 13 months. I only saw the doctor once, and, I didn't really get what I needed addressed at all. And you only get to see the doctor if you're willing to put in request after request. I think I put in like 8 requests before I was able to see the doctor or get, any help. And it's really the little things, too, that'll get to you. They don't pay anyone to clean the place, so you're going to get toe fungus at some point. Almost everyone does. You should see some of the disgusting, gnarled, graphic toenails that are there. But I was able to, as soon as I had that problem, I immediately, I had to put about 15 requests in. But I did get the Lamisol, and I bothered every nurse. But just the level, and that's, I think how they get away with a lot of it is it's such a Herculean task, and it takes so much energy to try to get any medical help or any help with a lot of your issues. It takes so much energy, and it's just so much work that you don't even bother half the time unless it's a really pressing issue. And I'm just, I'm so thankful you guys are out there, because that place needs to be shut down. I mean, that's, oh my gosh, I think about it, and it's like a time in my life that I just really don't want to remember. And the time, I've been in Lewisburg for about 3 months, and it's been so much easier. And I'm almost getting anxiety talking about Northern Neck, to be honest, man.
That's called PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD, someone just said here. We don't want you to have bad dreams tonight, but thanks for sharing that, because a couple of things, you said they're young here. They have a constant hiring sign out front. The turnover is abysmal here. They just go through, they churn through these people. So that's part of the situation as well.
Definitely, yeah. And, they're all 22-year-old kids, and they're in charge of, high-profile federal inmates. And, the intake pod is called J-Pod, and it is built like a concentration camp. There's 80 bunks and about four working sinks, maybe 3 or 4 at any given time. It's just, oh my God. And the shower situation, it's terrible. And yeah, just the conditions there are so horrible. And it's like they don't, oh my God, the food, I don't even want to get started on the food, but yeah, if they took me back there, I think I would just immediately go on a hunger strike. I don't think I could do it. I was talking to a gentleman named Robbie. He said he knew the owner of the Gazette, but I don't know if he ever got in touch with you guys or if he's out there, but he said he was going to be joining you. But I was in there with a guy named Robbie for a little bit, older gentleman. He's from Warsaw. I think he works on cars or stuff like that.
We've had a couple of guys come by when we were at the vigils, and said I called them the weekend warriors who were checking in for the weekend. That said once they got through with it, they would join us, because they agreed with what we're doing and the need to shine a light,
Absolutely. I think you guys definitely got us out of there. I mean, wouldn't you agree on that? I think.
Oh yeah.
The publicity, you guys definitely helped coordinating with that.
I think so, and I talk about it a lot, that it's a sleepy little, part of the world here, and they've sent these high-profile cases to just kind of tuck them away, and you guys they were hoping to do that too, but thank God you guys had, the courage to stand up for your rights and speak out. So we're just your microphone, my friend. That's it. Your voice is your power.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, and we're all really thankful. And oh my gosh, yeah. But everyone's got to get out of there. I mean, that place does need to be shut down. And another thing is a conflict of interest. I'm sure this has been said, but how do you have a judge that can send people to his jail? I mean, that blows my mind.
Oh, and by the way, it's a jail for profit.
Yeah, well, that's a profit-making institution. We know that. I've heard that story about the judge, but I do believe there's judges that are,
This call is from a federal prison.
Prison pipeline theory that's really about making money. It's not about, getting people to correct themselves and their mistakes in life. It's just, hey, sorry, you're going into that
Prison
system.
industrial complex.
Right, yeah. Because, I mean, some of the decisions they make there are just out of control. I mean, it's the helpings on the food, which is already so bad, but I would take more of it. I mean, it was that bad when you were there. And, you know, I think there's a law that any food on the commissary, like any money they make on the commissary is supposed to go back to inmate programs. And they had to be making 10 times what they bought everything for. I mean, ramen soups that are, you know, 10 cents on the street are $1.15. You know, the 35-cent chips are $1.15. And I mean, it really adds up, especially when you're near starving, because, you know, you can't blame someone if they don't want to eat the trays there. They are inedible. And I think one of the really messed up things they did was when you guys went to try one of the, I believe the Northern Neck Patriots, and y'all went down to try one of the meals, and they had a dummy meal kind of set up for you guys. And someone said, oh yeah, it was all right, I guess. The baked potato was a little overcooked. And we're hearing this like, the baked potato? What? Which is...
He's standing right here, James, and he still doesn't like that baked potato, but...
That's a CO meal.
That was a CO's meal, he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, how creepy is that, too, though? To try to give something that you know we don't actually... I mean, that's like some Shawshank Redemption level stuff right there.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed. Wow. Wow.
Which is ironic. The place I'm at now looks way more like Shawshank, but it's a lot better.
Yeah, I drove up there, I don't know, it was back, you know, real early in the year, before they started the vigils and all, and my GPS brought me in the back door, and I ended up driving this back road all along, and I passed one tower, one prison, you know, one guard tower, another guard tower. By the time I found the front door, I think they had pretty well surveilled me for about 10 minutes, so it was a wild looking place. It was built in the 30s, I think, right?
Yeah, 1932 is what I hear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm just glad it's better for you guys up there than it is here, and I'm glad you're able to be together with other folks too.
Yeah, we got a good group of guys here. We got like about 15 of us, so we stick together and, you know, sing the national anthem together and whatnot. So, yeah, we're doing much better here. But, you know, I think a lot of guys... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to make sure to remind you, get with Barry to get my email address, and let's start communicating that way too, okay?
Awesome, yeah. It's another thing we didn't have in Northern Neck, really. We had a messaging system, but it was horrible, and there's only 2 of them for 80 people, so you couldn't reliably get on.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know how that place has stood so long as a federal system, you know, with the federal contract, but I'm just trying to brainstorm right now, I guess, how we would get that place shut down as of now. But I feel like public pressure is the best thing we could do. And, you know, Barry was telling me
This call is from a federal prison.
Barry was telling me it's now known as the worst jail in America, so I don't know if that moniker's sticking anywhere else, but...
Oh, yeah.
Well, enough of you guys have seen
No doubt.
plenty of places, so I would trust that, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Seen everywhere in the whole D.C. extended area, Pennsylvania, North Carolina. But, yeah, Northern Neck was the worst. I still remember when they came to take me from Raleigh. I'm out of North Carolina. But, yeah, they came to take me there. I was like, you know, one of the guards from Northern Neck was taking me. And I had no idea what I was about to get into. But it got bad. But just real quick, I want to talk about something else. So my name is James Grant, and I was up there right at the start of the whole thing with Ray Epps. And for so long, I didn't really talk about it. But, you know, just seeing Ray Epps on 60 Minutes get such a softball interview and complain about living in a 3,000-foot, you know, $300,000, $3,000-foot beautiful RV. And it, you know, he's saying how horrible his life is. You know, I'm right there next to him. And, you know, I was peaceful. I contend the entire day on January 6th. And, you know, there's video of me stopping rioters from breaking windows. This is the one incident I've been charged with. And, you know, Ray's complaining. Meanwhile, I've been charged with assault with a deadly weapon. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the footage right at the beginning, but essentially a barrier made up of bike racks kind of got shoved in the beginning.
Right.
And I guess a cop fell down about 20 yards to the right that I'm somehow being held responsible for. But, yeah, I've been charged with assault with a deadly weapon, 20 years, you know, assaulting, resisting, or impeding officials, 20 years, obstruction of, you know, I've got all these crazy charges. I should be in law school right now. I would have been had I not, been charged in January 6th. I've had my life ruined. A bunch of the people from the front lines have had our lives ruined. And then Ray Epps is going to brag about orchestrating the entire thing and, not even get charged. And, the crazy thing is my 111B is a conspiracy charge, really. So they're saying I conspired to do it. So how is that not a conspiracy if you're saying I orchestrated the whole thing? That I didn't message anyone. I had no, so I don't know how that's not pre-planning and that's not an actual conspiracy. And he hasn't even been charged. So, I don't know what y'all think of that, but that stinks to me.
Yeah, agreed. I think they're trying to get him out there to socialize him so that they can protect him from what he actually deserves, which is responsibility, like the rest of all the undercover folks that were in the crowd and instigating things.
Absolutely, and I'm hoping that really starts to come out more and more, because there was definitely and I'm sure some of you guys read the Epoch Times, but a bunch of provocateurs and undercover agents are coming out, and it's only coming out because people are, demanding it come out, people that are representing themselves, stuff like that. It's kind of sad that that's how it has to come out. This should be, but I think that shows the motives of the people trying to cover it up. And, they ran with this narrative for so long that 5 cops died that day, when no cops died that day. It's now coming out. But I think the main thing that I could ask of you guys is somehow we got to get access to that Roseanne. That's the number one thing that is going to change the entire narrative, is access to the Roseanne Boylan footage. And that if that could spread across the internet, that will change the entire, and it'll show people what happened on January 6th. And from what I've heard, and I'm getting beat, I got about a minute left, but from what I've heard, it is a brutal video of that woman getting beaten, and her face is so swollen. It's very graphic, but I know if that could circulate, it would change everything about the public perception of January 6th. So,
Yeah.
if anyone out there, yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah, somebody's shaking their head here. I think that we've seen parts of it, but I agree. Getting all of it out there is going to be what's important. One of our friends at the vigil was buried underneath that pile within 8 feet of her and watched it with his own eyes, and he talks about it very emotionally. So that stuff needs to get out. You're absolutely right.
Definitely. And I think I'm going to get cut off in the next 10 seconds. So, again, thank you guys so much for braving the elements and being out there and getting us out of there. And let's get everyone out. But thank you guys.
God bless you, James. Thanks for calling, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Love y'all. Thank you.
All right.
Dude.
Bye.
Woo.
Is there about 15 minutes? Yeah.
I do believe I might have that footage that he's talking about.
Let's get it out there.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
What's going on?
We didn't know you guys were even gonna be here.
We didn't know either.
Oh, sorry.
The clouds were opening up, and we had to find alternative resources.
So we've got 2 big industries in the Northern Neck. One is nursing homes, the other is prisons.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be difficult convincing them to shut down that jail when that's a big employer around here. Now, I have a couple friends who have worked there, and it was a horrible work environment. They hated it. One got bit by a HIV positive inmate.
This is recording, by the way, just so you know.
Okay, very good. And it's a horrible work environment. So anybody who says, well, this provides all these wonderful jobs, those jobs suck. And the guards will tell you the shooting inmates got more rights than we did. They hate working there. It's a terrible work environment. They need to tear down the fences and make it a factory or something where, we actually produce something and people can have a productive work environment.
Or get rid of the management there.
How about we not have a prison? We should
Be
shut down
charged for
prisons
this call.
as well.
This call is from.
There's no
Elmer
correction
Rhodes.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time.
Think about it, our 2 big industries are nursing homes and prisons.
You may begin speaking now.
Places people go
Hello.
voluntarily.
Hello,
Hey, this is Stuart Rhodes with Oath Keepers. How you doing?
Stuart. Great to hear from you. This is Tom Jeffries, Northern Neck Patriots.
Hey, Tom, pleasure to meet you too. So, and thank you for doing what you're doing out there. Here, you guys are doing good work.
Well, absolutely. We're just trying to call, show light on what's going on out here at Northern Neck, but really across the whole system. So, yeah, happy we can talk.
Absolutely. Yeah, I unfortunately, us J6ers are now getting a very personal view of what's happening in the prison industrial complex in the United States. The growing American-style Gulag archipelago. So, for sure. I spent over a year in solitary confinement in Alexandria jail, 22-hour-day lockdown. So I know what it's like, for sure.
Yeah, so you're in D.C. now?
No, I'm here in Lewisburg with a lot of the other guys. We're up here in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, which is a great improvement. I'm here with about 28 other J6ers and an open unit, so we can get to talk and have fellowship. We just finished Bible study a little while ago, and it's a vast improvement. So, but something folks need to know and understand is that there has been a concerted effort to keep quite a few of us in solitary confinement for extended periods of time. And of course, they call it segregation, but that's not what it is. We didn't ask for it. We don't need protection. We're not afraid of the other inmates. In fact, quite a few of them treat us with great respect because we're J6ers. So it's being done, I believe, to coerce confessions, to coerce plea bargains. Get a guy that's got PTSD or is claustrophobic, he's not going to be able to handle being in a concrete box 22 hours a day. I think that's the intent. It's to punish you before trial, and then try to coerce confessions.
Right, and we all know that we're human beings. We're not meant to be isolated like that.
No, it's considered human rights abuse around the world. In fact, the United States government will complain. Like Japan was one case I read about in a newspaper article where an American arrested in Japan was kept in solitary. The United States complained that they're violating this person's human rights. So it's just kind of perverse that our own government does that systematically to us here inside the United States.
Well, I think that's what's going to come out of all this. So I know you guys are suffering during this, but it is raising awareness of what's going on. And for us out here in the Northern Neck, we never knew that this stuff was happening in our own backyard.
That's right. That's the good thing about this is that you have conservatives, quite a few of us are activists who are sounding the alarm, blowing the whistle on something that's been systemic. Apparently, you've got self-dealing going on there. You've got corruption. You have repeat players who benefit and profit from pretrial detention, and that's what's going on across the country. So the denial of bail usually lines a lot of pockets, put it that way. Not denial of bond. So I'm not a big fan of the conservative bent that says, well, if a guy's accused of a crime, we should lock him away. No, only if he's a flight risk or an actual danger to the community can you justify that. Otherwise, you're presumed innocent, until proven guilty. But that's no longer the case in this country, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely.
This call is from a federal prison.
So you guys are dealing with a lot of corruption there, I take it, right?
Well, it certainly feels like there are definitely lies and untruths. A lot of things have come to light from various stories of folks that have been in here. The medical issues are one thing that's been huge. I think some of the things that have gone on out here, probably.
Right.
But that's one area. Northern Neck Regional Jail touts itself as a medical facility because it happens to have an X-ray and a little surge, urgent care suite. But their actions certainly don't back that up from the stories we've heard.
Right. Well, I experienced that in Alexandria. We were, no sunlight for an entire year. And I asked for vitamin D and was not given it. And I asked, I would buy the vitamins, but they don't sell them on the commissary. So they just, either it's designed for a very short-term period of time, not designed for long-term attainment, or they just don't care. That's the problem. So there you go.
Certainly, it seems like there's a lack of caring here, and we were just talking about that with the caliber of some of the employees that they have that work in these jails, and what an awful job it is for them. So there's no.
It is, yeah. And the staff at Alexandria, the guards there, I had no problem with any of them. They were professional and respectful, and in contrast to what I hear from other facilities, they were great. But your medical care was crap. That's just the bottom line. You got no real medical care. It's always just trying to prescribe some drug to treat the symptoms rather than go into the cause. You know what I mean? So, or just give you pain meds.
If you can get those, right? Well, that's a problem with our medical system in general in this country, which is they want to pharmaceutically treat everyone rather than.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, they try to put me on statin drugs. No thanks. I'm just going to focus on getting in shape and cutting back on the carbs. So they feed you crap food, high carbohydrates, and soy, and just absolute junk, and then they want to put you on a statin drug, which just makes you more likely to become diabetic. That's what happens to people. And they want to put you on a diabetic drug once you become diabetic. So they have plenty of money, oddly enough. Funny how that happens, right? Plenty of money for all these ridiculous drugs, but they don't have any money for good nutrition.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think it was 2,200 calories a day they claimed that they gave folks out here, but that's 2,200 calories if it is of pretty poor nutrition.
Oh yeah, you're getting a lot of soy, you're getting a lot of processed white flour, you're just getting crap, a lot of sugar. It's just extremely unhealthy food, very unhealthy. So I spend a lot of money on commissary, just buying tuna and buying chicken and buying actual quality protein and fats. So I would spend like $100 a week usually just to have decent nutrition.
Yeah, it's interesting, when we toured the jail back over a year ago for the first time, and we asked questions about how we could help support the guys, and commissary being one of them. They actually tried to encourage us not to do so because it caused hate and dissension among inmates, and that it would cause problems.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't buy that. Yeah.
Well, it was a control mechanism. It's a control mechanism, and so yeah, they didn't want anybody to be able to better themselves at all.
Right. Now I would encourage all the folks listening to do all you can to make sure that no J6ers have to worry about not having money on this commissary. And the guys, they use it for good food, peanut butter, healthy fats. They use it for, like I said, chicken or tuna. And almost all the guys here work out. They're health conscious, but they just need protein. Especially you're working out, you need like 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That takes a lot. So if you want them to be strong and become better men while they're here, then you got to support them with a commissary for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Well,
I guess you go to direct2j6.com is the website I hear, where you can just look us up directly and just send the guys, commissary wherever they're being held. Yeah.
All right, we'll definitely spread that around. Stuart, what's next for you then?
Well, I'm getting sentenced at the end of May, and of course we expect a continuation of what we've already been through. This is a show trial, and so I just, my long-term goal is to do what Solzhenitsyn did. The great Russian dissident who spent, I believe it was 11 years total in the Soviet gulags. So my goal is to use this experience to expose the police state that's growing like a cancer in our country, and they won't shut me up. They won't shut me up to kill me. So, and I want to warn people out there that this is the beginning. We're in a twilight between the Founders Republic and a communist dictatorship. And if you don't stop it, that's where it's going to go. So it's important for all of you to unite, to come together. Every single person that's being arrested and prosecuted for J6.
This call is from a federal prison.
They're all political prisoners. Whatever they did that day, whatever they're charged with doing that day, they're all being grossly overcharged, and it's for political reasons. And it's to create a suppression campaign to terrorize the MAGA movement into submission, make you afraid to stand up, afraid to speak out. That's the real goal. So what you have to do is do the opposite, to unite and speak out and stand up. Just understand that it's going to get worse before it gets better. And the people in Congress have got to grow a spine. They should be impeaching the Attorney General. They should be impeaching Biden. They should be doing all they can and holding real J6 hearings to expose everything that happened that day. That's what needs done. Now, I'll volunteer to go testify. Absolutely.
Well, I think you're spot on with all of that. So, yep, it's not over. Even when you think it is, it's not. So, got a long way ahead to go.
That's right. So, we come from good stock in this country, and we have good history. So we can't let the bad guys win. We need to make sure that our trajectory is different than other countries. like Nazi Germany or the Soviet Union, to make sure that we stand up and unite and save our country. And so I support President Trump. I think what he's doing now is finally he's finally speaking out about the unconstitutionality of the 2020 election. It violated Article 2. It's driving me insane for over a year and a half now, or actually almost 2 years, for people not to even think about the constitutional issues with the 2020 election. So President Trump, in his speech after he was indicted in New York, said this was an unlawful election that violated state election laws, and that made it unconstitutional under Article 2. So he's finally speaking out about that, which is fantastic. And I encourage him to recruit Mark Levin to be his advisor on that, because Mark Levin has been spot on about that for the longest time now. It's very, very good to see that.
Yeah, agreed. I'm glad to see the President speaking out about all of it and taking a strong stance. I think that's what's been needed, because a lot of us know that.
And Cash Patel, I was listening to him yesterday. He filled in for Sebastian Gorka, and he was kicking ass. It was fantastic. He did a really good segment and going into J6 also. So I think that's what we need is more truth telling like that, and less of the uniparty or quizzling rhinos who just want to brush the 2020 election under the rug. If you don't have clean elections and constitutional elections, you don't have a democracy. Even though we're not a democracy, we're a republic. But you have no capacity to change things politically and peacefully unless you have clean elections. So we got to make sure our elections are clean and constitutional.
Number one, absolutely, that's one. What's in there?
Yep. All right. Well, hey, any other questions before I take off?
No, but thank you so much, Stuart. And if you want to get my contact info from Barry, please do, and stay in touch. And thanks so much. We're glad to speak to you.
Yeah, and God bless you all, and thanks for all your support. And shout out to Asabella's mom. So I just want to give my admiration and respect to her.
We do.
Compared to what she lost that day, we're good, but she lost her daughter, and I think her daughter is a hero. And we'll go down in history, hopefully, if we prevail. We'll go down in history as a hero, patriot.
And Mickey is too, so thanks, Stuart, for that.
You bet. God bless, brother. Take care.
God bless you.
All right, bye.
I think you got a little broken up there at the end.
I think so. So, it turns out in all the counties of the Northern Neck, the two largest employers is first the schools, then the sheriff's departments, and then the jail, which is kind of parallel with the sheriff's departments. But those are the actual largest employers, unless there's a hospital around. But the schools get the largest amount of the taxpayer dollars by 2 to 1 over the sheriffs. Schools get everything, and no matter whether it's right or wrong, they still get it.
Well, there's an old saying that you can build schools or you can build prisons, because if you don't educate the kids, you're going to end up dealing with them later. But that being said,
That's true.
They're running this prison, this jail here so irresponsibly.
I think too.
Shut it down.
I think people need to. It's like you hear people talking about the incompetence of our current government. It's not incompetence, because what they're trying to do is just not what you want them to do. They're doing what they're doing very well, and it's planned and
Federal prison. You will not be charged for this call. This call is from
Robert Morris.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this call, press 5. You may begin speaking now.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey, Robert, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's your friendly neighborhood Lego man checking in. I just have a quick message for those that are in attendance and are listening. I just want to say thank you for all that you have done in the past. You guys have represented us very well, and I'm grateful for all the sacrifices you made. I want you to know, too, that the federal government has obeyed the Northern Neck Regional Patriots. How amazing is that, huh? You guys were able to command what this government had to do with their political prisoners, which I think is something that you guys should be very proud of. So I wanted to call and say congratulations, mission accomplished, and a job well done.
Thank you, Robert. And by the way, I was reading your code of conduct at the beginning of this call. I got it to point 4, but I want to get through all of those as we do this because, again, that's one of the most impressive things that I remember of this whole ordeal. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got to give credit, honor, glory, and praise where it's due. You know, it all came from above. It was completely God-breathed. You know, I sprinkled my life into it, you know, and even a tattoo of mine in there, but, no, it all came from above. So thank you for valuing it, thank you for promoting it, and then thank you for applying it. And, I mean, frankly, going to Northern Neck was a trial and a tribulation, but I'm honored to have gone through it because just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had someone go through their fire with them, you guys went through the fire with us, and we're grateful for that.
Well, I'm glad we could do our little part. So tell us about how things are looking for you and what's next.
Well, I would love to get into it tonight, but I got one last friend of mine who wants to call you guys, who's very special to me, so I don't want to go too far into the woods. Maybe I'll call you guys this Tuesday. Maybe I'll do a little cameo then and elaborate more. But I will say that I'm getting sentenced on May 25th, and I can officially say that I've been down for almost 2 years now. But once again, I've stayed completely out of trouble. Haven't had a single incident to report. And, you know, I kept a job the entire time I was at Northern Neck, you know, over a year. So I'm hoping that that matters in the eyes of the judge to know that I was a good man before this. I've maintained my integrity, and I have a lot of people to honor with my decisions, but I have every intention of remaining a good man well into the future after this chapter's over with. So,
Well, we'll be behind you, and we'll be praying for you. So thanks, and yeah, let's talk soon, okay?
Hey, thank you very much. I'm honored, and you guys have not wasted your time, love, energy, and prayers on me. So I'm grateful for you guys. I want to honor you with not only how I handle this jail thing, but how I handle everything else in the future. So more to come. The best is yet to come. God bless you guys. Give my love to Sherry Pitts out there if she's there, and if not, tell her, man, I miss hearing her voice, and one day I can't wait to give her a big old hug.
All right, we'll tell her. Yep.
Thank you, and I cannot wait to raise a glass with all of you soon. Will not be long.
All right. God bless.
God bless you guys. Yep, talk to you soon.
So Sherry leave.
Yeah, she had to go to the grocery store.
She-
She had to close that.
She would have loved hearing that. We'll have to make sure to pass that on to.
Well, I'm meeting her for dinner.
Okay.
So I'll have to leave in a few minutes. I
So,
only have one place that's open.
Yeah, when I finally figured out that they're not incompetent and they're doing everything they're doing so poorly on purpose, it's supposed to be that way, it gave me a lot of freedom. The things I think about now are much different than just thinking about, God, I can't wait until the next election. Because that's not going to work very well either, but I'm still going to vote. But the other thing I think about is scenes that I remember from Rambo.
Don't forget the board meetings this Wednesday.
Yep, we'll be there.
For the jail?
Yeah, Debbie.
The first Wednesday of every month at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, maybe we should put that on our agenda, is just keep pushing to shut that place down.
And
I don't like, I mean, I've lived here all my life, except for when I was in the military and some other years, but, you know, you come in from Tappahannock with
For this call. This call is from
Daniel Rodriguez.
This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. To accept this call, press 5. You may begin speaking now.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Daniel.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? Good out there?
Yeah, we're doing great. How are you doing tonight?
I'm hanging in there. Hello from Lewisburg. I was there 19 months about in that Northern Neck facility there, and saw some crazy stuff. I don't know if I have anything new to share with you guys. You know, I'm sure you're tired of hearing about the food, but yeah, there was just so much turnover there, and I just right away I had the inkling that the corruption is like from the top, and right away, you know, you felt that funds were not there that were supposed to be there and everything. But you know, it's hard to be around there. You know, it's kind of up in the middle of nowhere, and you know, that's the only jobs. Not too many jobs around there, and you know, these guys are young, and I can't put too much blame on them. It's from the top. You know, these guys are having barbecues and lunches, and you know, with the judges and the sheriff, and you know, they're all mingling and rubbing elbows with each other, and you know, so it's a culture that it's going to be hard to take apart there. You know, as in like the same thing with the swamp. You know, DC swamp. You know, it's the culture, and it's very difficult to combat something like that.
Well, here you're right, and here it's a moneymaker. That's what it is, and they're very proud of the fact that they have very big bank accounts, and that they have the lowest per diems in the state, but the highest overall income in the state. So that tells you something there. They're trying to maximize the profit and minimize the service that our citizens are getting.
Yeah, that is right. There's I remember there was a nice guy, you know, and you know, he was an older gentleman. He was the maintenance guy, and he's the only one there that was coming to fix things. And you know, I don't want him to get in trouble or anything. I'm just saying that he needed help. He needed, you know, he was overworked, and nobody would come and check his work. There's just no eyes on these guys. There's no accountability. The system there it's so flawed. People, you know, policies will change from shift to shift, from day to day, and week to week. You just don't know what to do sometimes, and the treatment it can be overwhelming. And once you get out of that situation, you really realize the kind of environment you're in, and you're just so happy and relieved to be out of it. You know, it's such a bad memory to be there. And when you're in there, you know, sometimes you kind of want to get comfortable and adjusted to it. But boy, it was tough. You know, not going outside, no fresh air. It's difficult. You know, but we all got a role to do. You know, those officers in there, they gotta stand up and do what's right. They know what's right in their hearts, just like the FBI and everybody else. You know, but more than doing the right thing, a lot of people, it might even be easier to in some aspects to go to war against an enemy and risk it all, rather than actually going against a boss or a coworker or someone like that. You know, you're worried about your paycheck and your raise and your vacation time, and you know, so it's really difficult for people to stand up and do the right thing.
Well, that's a topic that explains a lot of what's going on and what's wrong in America right now. Because if more people would stand up, Daniel, then I think we'd be in a different world, wouldn't we?
Absolutely, yeah. We would be in a much better world. You know, the phone's gonna hang up pretty soon right now. I'm gonna be the last call tonight. If you guys don't know, we get locked down here at 9 o'clock. But if I can just tell everybody or ask everybody to really pray for those in authority over us. You know, we need more God in this world, in this country, and we know if we don't seek God, you know, we're just being of the flesh, and we're really going the wrong way. We need help, and that we need a miracle. So if we can all pray for each other, our enemies included, we need help.
This call is from a federal prison.
Well, that's great advice. Thank you, and we'll make sure that we pass that on, and we'll be saying a few words for you and everyone. That's it.
Yeah, you
It's
guys
9
got
o'clock.
off.
Shut it down.
Yeah.
Well, it's 9 o'clock. You know what that means.
Oh, 8 calls tonight, guys. 8 calls. Man.
That was great.
That was
A lot of
continuous,
information tonight,
and it probably would have been more if we'd had more phones and more speakers and more.
Here you go.
Oh, yeah.
You want to hold that up there? You all going to gather around for the Pledge of Allegiance?
We
will.
We'll do the pledge.
Not the pledge, the
Yeah.
national anthem.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Oh, say, can by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
USA! USA! USA!
USA!
Gotta do it right.
Bless America.
All right.
Great night.
Bye,
Great night.
everybody. Bye, everybody. My phone still has battery.
He really wants to meet your dog.